a formula similar to this. So this formula has really worked for me over and over again. I think some key components are that ability to cast a strong vision, the ability to put a plan in place so people can measure how they're doing against the plan, and as the leader, being able to give the right meaning, making sure people stay on track and don't let the setbacks derail them and give them a reason to quit. So I think we have a couple minutes for questions. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
I got to relate back to your video where you talked about communication style.
Yeah.
And really the new folks, what you're joining our city right now, are coming in, they're very social in the way they communicate. Some of those folks that you interact with don't make eye contact. They rather text you a message or email you something and have a conversation. We also have citizens that haven't maybe evolved to that stage, but they still like to have that handshake or that look in the eye, that face-to-face interaction. I think some of the challenges, maybe give us some of your insight on this. How do we work with our new employees that have those different communication sets to make them more effective working with some of the folks in our community?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So your question is really, how do we work with this younger generation that's not quite as this doesn't quite have the people skills that we perceive that we have, because back in the day, all we had was the phone and face-to-face communication. Today, it's text, it's the one-word answers and all that, so that they are a little more personal and they connect a little bit more. I'll tell you, you're not the only organization that's facing that. Any customer service organization today will tell you that that's a top priority. And I would take, the connecting principles that I talk about, that I teach in that workshop, but just to give you a couple of the ones right off the top of my head is to your point, you've got to make eye contact. Communication goes beyond words. It goes to body language in your physiology, number one. They've got to learn to ask good questions to make sure that they understand what the other person's telling them. And they got to find a way to connect. I mean, the easiest way I teach people to connect is that connect on common ground. Even if somebody's calling into customer service and I know we're being measured to average handle time and all those things, but we got to establish a little bit of relationship, and it's up to us to put a plan in place or set standards of what good communication looks like and teach it to our team members, because they're not learning that stuff growing up anymore. I mean, it's scary. I've got high school kids, and it's we're on it all the time. And we've got a no cell phone at the table, dinner table rule. I do my best to follow that. My wife is on me all the time. But somebody brought up change being easier when it's your idea. My wife tells me all these things I need to do different. For some reason, I struggle. But anyway, good question. Thank you. Anybody else?
Do you think there should be a different style of management today from what we used to have 20 years ago?
In what way? What would have been 20 years ago?
20 years ago, just like the typewriter was there, and management was top down, but with people meeting in social media, using social media and adopting a new culture of communication. Mm-hmm. Do you think management style should also change to meet those new forms of communication?
So I think what I'm hearing you say, so should the management style that says I've got this title or I've got this position and you do what I say or else, is that effective versus a relational style that says, hey team, we're going to build a vision, here's what we think we can go do, how can you help me go solve that problem, which do I think is better? I think the latter. Yeah, and I think that's high-performing organizations are proving that time and time again. The biggest thing that we're looking to get today is discretionary effort. You want people to be enthusiastic about their work, and you want them to give more. It's kind of, my kid played baseball, and it's that hustle to first base. You hit it out in the outfield, I can jog to first base. I got there, I was safe, coach. What? But the hustle puts you in position in case the guy in the outfield bobbles it. Well, it's the same thing in our work. If I'm going that extra effort, I'm creating more opportunities. And you know what? I really enjoy my work more too. The two things that there's been study after study on this, that make people the most motivated is number one, feeling like they're contributing to something of significance, a greater purpose, bigger than themselves. The whole Steve Jobs story that I talked about before. And then number two is feeling like they're growing, they're learning something. And as a leader, we play an active role in both of those. And if we want an enthusiastic and engaged workforce, I think we need to give them that. Telling them, you work for me and you got to be here because that's the rules. They'll show up because they got a family to feed and they'll be there, but they're the walking dead. They're not giving you the inspired work that'll really help you transform your organization. Great question, thank you. Okay, I think I probably need to wrap it up. I've got just one final comment. If you could fill out the surveys, I'd really appreciate it. I'm gonna do a drawing at the end for a book, and we're gonna do that at the break, so you can fill this out at your leisure. But I'd like to leave you with one final comment. Does anybody know or have an idea of how we might accelerate this process? Anybody want to take a guess? All these smart people, somebody's got to have an idea. How do we accelerate that cycle of success?
More involvement of the staff.
More involvement, close. Go a little more involvement by who?
By the whole
By management.
By the whole team, by management. Okay, so bring a mentor, bring a coach, bring a role model, bring a leader, which is what all of us are, right? So let me share with you, just in closing, I got a couple final thoughts. If you guys will pay attention to this, I think you'll find this valuable. What I have found about change is that very few people can make significant change without the help of someone else. Somebody that can come alongside them, somebody that can help mentor. In fact, for you to change, everybody here in this room, chances are for you to be successful, it'll rely on two things. One, your desire, which you guys probably all would readily admit. But number two, the quality of those that are around you that can help mentor, lead, develop, serve as role models. And as I look back on my career, every significant change that I've been able to make has been because somebody's come alongside me and helped me. So what does that mean to those of us that are leaders? Think about this for a minute. If those of us that are leaders need somebody to come alongside us and help us, then what does that mean for those that are following you? I mean, they need it even more, right? It's even more true for those. So what I would like to challenge you, what I'd like to encourage you to do is that from this day forward, from this workshop forward, you view yourself as a friend to those who want and need to make change. And from this day forward, you view yourself as a change agent. You view yourself as a leader whose responsibility it is to help your people get to the other side and help them go to that next level. I mean, think about the feeling of accomplishment, the building of confidence, and the joy that will be forever instilled in that individual. And let me ask you just one final closing question that you can ponder when the workshop's over. Is there anything really better? Is there anything really more satisfying than being in a position to give that gift to somebody else who so desperately needs your leadership? Thank you very much. You guys have been a great audience. I wish you the best of luck in your change efforts. Thank you.